You've probably seen the bulb layering done in containers and wondered if it really works. Well, it does work, but how exactly is it done, and where do you store the containers between the time of planting and spring blooming? Since it's the year of the daffodil, National Garden Bureau has decided to do some bulb layering in 3 matching containers. The only difference will be how they are stored over winter. First, the 3 types of bulbs we planted are muscari, hyacinths, and daffodils, all of which were labeled with a mid-spring bloom time. This hopefully means they will be blooming all at the same time. The first thing to do is inspect the bulbs for any damage. This rarely happens, but it's better to check before you plant. Then choose your containers. Our 3 containers are 18 inches deep and 14 inches across with sufficient drainage holes. We filled all 3 with soil 6 to 7 inches deep. The first layer we planted were daffodils. A general rule of thumb for bulbs is to plant them 3 times the height of the bulb. In this case, our bulbs were 2 inches tall, so we planted them 6 inches deep and fairly closely but not touching to prevent decay. Then we added more soil to the containers. The next layer was hyacinths. They were only about 1 inch tall, so we planted them 3 inches deep. Again, we covered this bulb layer with soil. Lastly was the muscari. These little guys are only about a ½ inch tall, so we planted them 1½ to 2 inches deep in a circle approximately around the outside of the cluster of hyacinths. Then we covered that last layer with additional soil. You may wonder why we planted the hyacinths in a group in the middle and the muscari in a circle. This is simply called experimenting. You can see that we've labeled each container by where it will be stored. 1 in an attached garage, 1 in a detached garage, and 1 outdoors. The only protection we gave the one stored in the attached garage is some shredded leaf mulch on top. The one stored in the detached garage was put inside a garbage bin and insulated with shredded leaf mulch on the bottom, sides, and top. The container stored outdoors is wrapped in bubble wrap for a little insulation and topped with chicken wire to prevent critters from digging up and eating the bulbs. All containers were watered in and put aside until next spring. So the experiment is underway. Once it's time to pull the containers out of hibernation from our Chicago winter, we will document the progress and share the results. Happy gardening!